Quite a matchup we have today. Keone Pearson versus Michael Krizo. Now, why are we doing this? Is Krizo competing at the Prague Pro? Because I just seen an announcement that Keone Pearson, he's competing at the Prague Pro in the men's open. That would be exciting. This is a fan request, and I actually asked you guys to please get this request up to at least 10%. Because if they're under 10%, I will not do them. And you guys actually went back. All I had to do was say, please. Well, please hit thumbs up on this video and maybe subscribe to the channel. And while I'm at it, go over to Instagram and follow me on Instagram as well. Please. It was the Stallone please, wasn't it? Is what did it. Now sizing will be an issue. As you can see, these two specimens, a lot different in height. Krizo, he has to be 6 feet, maybe 6'1", and Keone Pearson, he's like 5'6", so they're 6 or 7 inches difference. And just for you size police, because I know you guys are, there's a lot of you fellers. You guys watch me a lot, so here is a couple of metering sticks. Couple of measuring sticks. So, I mean, yeah, Krizo might be bending at the knees a little bit more, but not too much more. And when they're standing the exact same, you can do this type of behavior. Of course, when one guy's bending at the knees, one guy's not, then you cannot really do this. You can't follow this. But either way, folks, the money is in the details, as Tom says. I mean, wow. Size, sure. But look at the little midsection of Keone. Detail in the wheels as well. Wow, a lot of impact. Of course, the size, that's going to have a lot of impact as well. So I think it could be close in the front double. Of course, if these guys are standing side by side, Michael starts shaking, you know what I mean, the way he does. And Keone, like a statue. They're going to go with Keone because he's better in terms of shape. He is. And Krizo's just way bigger. He is, for sure. Now go to the front lat spread. This is kind of an interesting matchup. Now again, you have the dominance in the torso heap for Keone Pearson. Little midsection and blooms, just like a flower. And in terms of Krizo, you could notice in the front double, he was not as good in that aspect, but his arms made up for it. Those giant arms of Krizo, they were giving him an edge. Well, at least in that aspect. I'm not saying he was winning the first pose, but you take that out of the equation, and it's Keone all the way, all day long, all day strong. Quads are so massive for Michael Krizo. I mean, the guy is so much bigger that I wouldn't say it's a weak point of his. His quads actually look pretty good here. Conditioned as well. This is the Pittsburgh Pro version, by the way. Now, one thing I did not mention in the front double was the dominance of the calves for Krizo, and he is absolutely just blasting Keone out of the whatever in that aspect. But, you know, I'd still give this shot to Keone Pearson. Hands down, I think 90% of you, well, we'll say 75% of you, 78, would vote for Keone. Now turn to the side, and again, like Tom says, and I'm talking about Tom from This Old House. He says the money's in the detail. And it is. Keone Pearson in the front, well, the front double anyway. It was kind of close, and I was siding with Keone in the front lat. And now, it seems like Keone Pearson could run away with this one. That's hilarious when you think about how big Michael Krizo is next to this man. But it is the display. This is bodybuilding, people. Not some sort of a strong man competition. But those are cool. Bill Kazmaier, Jean-Paul Sigmarsson, all those fellers. Mauricio Pujanovsky. Anyway, side tricep. And you know what? I think Krizo, he is faring a little bit better in this shot than in the side chest. Midsection actually looks a little better for Krizo. You can see him exhaling here. Boof. Shows up more in the video. I think it's his left leg, right? Hold on a second. Okay, that's the one with the L on it. I write L and R on my legs, so I know. Now, his quad does look a little bit better. Looks more detailed than in the other one, so it's more of a match for Keone in the lower half, whereas the side chest, Keone, all day. And in the upper body as well. I mean, Krizo has a strong delt. You could see that in the other shot, but it was more of the overall package, the overall detail. So, yes, I'm trying to sound smart. I do that by times. Now go to the back. Of course, there is a lot to take in here. At first glance, a novice to the sport, or somebody that's just brand new to bodybuilding, they're going to say, well, the guy in the blue, Krizo's winning. He's bigger. Look at the size of him. He's taller, too. Well, the thing is, there's more in life than size of muscle. There's more in bodybuilding than just sheer size. Triceps, too, popping out. You got to look at the whole package. And when I look at the lower half, this Keone, he is a Clydesdale compared to Krizo. His legs are bigger on a smaller frame. Waistline is minute. And the lats themselves are better. I like the upper traps for Krizo. It's kind of the way he's posing, I think. But the traps as a whole, more detailed, as well as the lats for Keone. Those lat insertions are drawn in just so. And the artist who drew the lats insertions of Krizo, he just kind of phoned it in, you know what I mean? He kind of just scribbled it in there. But I guess that's kind of rude. My point is, I would go with Keone Pearson, even though there is a percentage that would go for the bigger guy. Here's the rear double, maybe a better shot for Krizo, in terms of the comparison anyway. He has the arms in the equation, and whenever this man can toss those delts, triceps, and biceps, well, the biceps aren't really showing up much, which is strange. But the other two, obviously the biggest delts in the IFBB today, maybe. I think they're probably close to it, and one by all. But again, lat insertions drawn to perfection. Is it prefection or perfection? All right. Now the lower half again, awesome size for Keone. Calves, yeah, I mean, they're a little bit smaller than Krizo's. Not being disrespectful, but, you know, I gotta call it like it is. And Krizo has massive, ginormous calves. Maybe not as detailed, maybe not as conditioned looking as Keone Pearson's, but at the end of the day, and the most muscular, I would go with Krizo. I would go with Michal Krizo for the win in this pose. Don't get your pantaloons in a bunch. I have Keone Pearson winning the overall. It's detail. This is bodybuilding. The art has to stay in it. And I think guys like Urs Kalasinski, him coming from Classic, it proves that has a lot to do with the art. Condition, muscularity, sure, but it has to be a balance. Oh, look at this. Crab position. Michal Krizo again, another victory. I don't think there's too many guys, today anyway, could beat him in this crab position. Maybe not the strongest pose for bodybuilders today. Whereas you look at Arnold's day, they all did a good crab position. Except for that Franco Columbo. Anyway, folks, this was a good request. Thank you very much. Probably won't get the amount of views that like a Ronnie Coleman video gets, but I like to keep current, somewhat current. We're not all about views here at Mark's Max Muscle. Well, we are, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Love and appreciate every one of you folks. Have a great one.